Part 46. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chaoji Dupang. Chapter 455. My territory in the continent of the gods is called the River Crab Territory. Next, I will go back to the territory to make arrangements. After opening up a 5-sect alliance station in the territory, I will come back to pick you up and go to the continent of the gods. After the alliance of the 5 factions confirmed their surrender, Chen Ronghuo explained to the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others. Now that he has received a large wave of the Law of Calamity, he must return to the territory immediately to refine it. After refining the stone substitute and becoming truly immortal, Chen Ronghuo was even more eager to improve his strength. Because of the substitute stone fetus, even if his body dies unexpectedly, he can still be resurrected 100 years later. But after resurrection, his strength cannot be improved for life, which is a huge limitation for him. At the same time, there is another reason why Chen Ronghuo wants to return to the continent of the gods alone, this time without taking the people of the 5 factions alliance with him. That is, the loyalty of the people in the 5 factions alliance is not high now. In addition, he himself does not have the power to suppress everything. You must not have the intention to harm others, and you must have the intention to guard against others. Chen Ronghuo knows this very well. At the same time, he also knows that he has achieved what he has achieved today because he has done it step by step. It is hard-earned and cannot be neglected. I'll be waiting to see you off, Lord. The blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others bowed slightly. From now on, they are completely different from Chen Ronghuo. Even the Holy Tiger of the Holy Tiger sect is like this. Chen Ronghuo nodded, then took out the catalogue of the 2 realms, tore it open, and walked towards the black and white portal. When entering the portal, Chen Ronghuo looked back at the 5 factions alliance. His purpose of coming here this time has been successfully completed. Next, it's time to break through the realm with the breath of the law of refining calamity. When Chen Ronghuo left, the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and the others looked at each other with complicated expressions. In any case, decades ago, they would not have thought that Chen Ronghuo, who was still a little guy in their eyes at that time, would have grown to what he is today in a short period of time. Shocking. This can't be described with just 2 words, shocking. River Crab Territory, I wonder what kind of territory it is. Byron, the ancestor of the Jew Knife sect, said with a hint of expectation. The name is a bit cheesy, but no matter what, we have already made up our minds. And if we wait any longer, I'm afraid we will really run out of time. Fushania shook his head. At this time, the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast had already raised its voice, spreading its voice throughout the entire 5 directions mysterious god formation and reaching the ears of all 5 sect alliance disciples. I announce that from now on, our Qinglei sect will be merged into the He Crab territory and become the Dharma Protector sect of the He Crab territory. Everyone, be prepared. Soon, our Qinglei sect will move into the world of gods as a whole. I declare. After the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast finished speaking, the others also spoke one after another. Merge into the River Crab territory. What kind of territory is the River Crab territory? Why have I never heard of it? It's strange that you've heard that. Haven't you heard that we will move to the world of the gods soon? That River Crab territory must be the territory of the world of the gods. As soon as the words of the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast came out, the entire 5 factions alliance immediately became a sensation. Everyone was talking about it. Discuss how they will move into the world of the gods. What kind of territory is the River Crab territory? And whether this matter is related to the short and fierce battle just now. River Crab Collar. In a cave in a mountain peak, Jin Qingxuan's mind suddenly moved, and he said to Lin Qingtian, I remember that my junior brother's previous territory in the gods' continent seemed to be the River Crab territory. Master, do you think the River Crab territory that our ancestors called it should be right? Could it be junior brother's River Crab leader? How could it be related to your junior brother? Lin Qingtian shook his head. He later heard from several of his disciples about Chen Ronghuo's expression when he invaded the Tiangu territory decades ago. He even knew that Chen Ronghuo was captured by Yelu Ditian. He was extremely anxious at the time but could do nothing. Fortunately, he later contacted his master Wu Tianzhuo and found out that Chen Ronghuo had escaped. But he didn't know where Chen Ronghuo went after he escaped from the trap. He asked Wu Tianzhuo, but for some unknown reason, Wu Tianzhuo only told him that Chen Ronghuo was fine and asked him to stop worrying about Chen Ronghuo's affairs. But this time the Five Factions Alliance is moving to the continent of the gods. It is a big deal. Let me ask your master what is going on. With a thought, Lin Qingtian took out his voice box and sent a message to Wu Tianzhuo. Nowadays, under the control of the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others in the Five Directions mysterious formation, a group of disciples can already communicate with each other through the sound transmission box. Buzz. In the beat of confusion, Wu Tianzhuo took out his sound transmission box. He took a look and found that the person who contacted him was his proud disciple Lin Qingtian. After seeing Lin Qingtian asking him what the fight was about and what kind of territory the river crab territory was, Wu Tianzhuo said nothing for a while. But his cheeks were slightly red. Now that the Five Factions Alliance has taken refuge with Chen Ronghuo is equivalent to the leader of the Five Factions Alliance. Just as Chen Ronghuo said that day, now he has truly become the master of the alliance leader. He uses fake facial expressions to communicate with those around him. He also mentioned the story between himself and Chen Ronghuo from time to time. Beautiful. At the same time, half a while later, Wu Tianzhuo replied to Lin Qingtian indifferently, "You may not believe it, but the Lord of Hexi territory is one of my former disciples." After receiving the news, Lin Qingtian was a little confused. He clearly remembered that Wu Tianzhuo only had him as his disciple. After Chen Ronghuo returned to Hexi territory, he immediately ordered his subordinates to divide 5 areas in the Hexi world to be distributed to the Five Factions Alliance in the future. After giving this order, he began to retreat. The breath of the rolling law of the calamity poured into his soul sea, and began to accelerate his comprehension of a large number of laws. White Tiger Territory. Lord, this is the reply from the Black Whale Ancestor. A subordinate walked in quickly and handed a jade talisman to the White Tiger Grand Duke. The White Tiger Grand Duke took the jade talisman, separated a wisp of soul power and swept it inside, and a smile suddenly appeared on his face. Notify them and prepare to attack the river crab territory. Yes. The subordinate immediately took the order and left. But after the subordinate left, an old man who was standing in front of the White Tiger Grand Duke said worriedly, "Although the Black Whale Ancestor is a 9th level demon, he should not be a match for the Black Dragon Ancestor, right?" "Of course I know," the White Tiger Grand Duke's eyes flashed with green light, "but I just need him to help me hold the Black Dragon guy for a while. He will not be at ease until the river crab territory is destroyed." Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 456. In Chen Ronghuo's retreat room, layers of ripples rippled out, becoming misty and illusory, showing various colors, which also represented the overflow of the power of various laws. At this time, he was like a whale in the deep sea. Swallow the breath of a large number of laws of calamity in your soul sea, and quickly understand the mysteries of various laws. Only people like him, with special fortune, can progress so quickly after reaching the 8th level of cultivation. Comprehension of the law is not just about understanding the law. He also needs to imprint the mark of the law deep in his soul. It's like having secret patterns carved on a secret treasure embryo. Drawing different secret patterns can give the secret treasure different functions. The stronger and more suitable the secret pattern is, the more powerful the secret treasure will be. In the same way, the more imprints of laws that Chen Ronghuo imprints in the depths of his soul, the stronger he will be. No matter how many laws a cultivator practices, when he wants to take his cultivation one step closer, he must raise all the laws he cultivates to what level? Chen Ronghuo practices the 9 laws, and it is extremely difficult to advance. Fortunately, Chen Ronghuo controls the law of tribulation and can use the breath of the law of tribulation to speed up the comprehension of other laws. Being able to clearly feel that you are getting stronger is a very addictive feeling. Time passes quickly. In an instant, Chen Ronghuo spent 10 days in the river crab world. 9 steps in half a step. On this day, Chen Ronghuo opened his eyes flashed, and the void was filled with electricity. After 10 days in the river crab world, he finally used the large amount of breath of the law of calamity obtained from conquering the 5-faction alliance to complete a major transformation. If it was as expected before, at this time his cultivation level had already reached half a step to the 9th level. A strong person in this realm can be considered outstanding even in the entire Bihai. Not to mention that Chen Ronghuo was able to leapfrog the challenge significantly. According to his estimation, his combat power at this time should be no worse than the average late 9th level cultivator. And such combat power can be said to be very terrifying. Practitioners like the Black Dragon Grand Duke and the White Dragon Grand Duke can also exert combat power comparable to late 9th level cultivators in their respective territories. But once they leave their respective territories, their strength will drop a small level. Because Chen Ronghuo possesses the divine seal, he can burn the power of faith anytime and anywhere. No matter where he is, he can perfectly display his strength. In other words, at this time, in terms of comprehensive strength, he has surpassed most of the powerful men at the level of the 32 Grand Dukes of Bihai. Even among the 10 King Islands in the North Sea, the powerful ones above the late 9th level are not cabbage. Boom! Suddenly, with a thought in Chen Ronghuo's mind, he felt an extremely strong vibration, which was transmitted from the outside world to the world of Hexi. Such a strong wave, who is he? With a thought in his mind, he immediately walked out of the river crab world. After leaving the river crab world, he discovered that the place where the powerful fluctuations came from was not one place, but 2 places. This is, Aurora King Island and White Dragon King Island. Chen Ronghuo only made a brief calculation, and a look of horror appeared in his eyes. He suddenly discovered that the places where these 2 powerful fluctuations came from were actually 2 of the 10 King Islands in the North Sea. This wave is too powerful. Chen Ronghuo estimated that even at this time, he would definitely not be a match for the powerful person who had caused these 2 waves. Just like at this time, there are powerful forces attacking these 2 King Islands. Who dares to attack Wangdao? A huge shadow appeared in Chen Ronghuo's heart. Originally, he had just made a breakthrough and was in high spirits, but when these 2 fluctuations came out, they immediately felt like 2 big mountains, weighing on his heart. All his high spirits were suppressed. At the same time, this also made him realize that he had just changed from an ant to a rabbit. Can only eat grass. He is still far from transforming into a carnivore and hunting everywhere. However, the changes that occurred on Aurora King Island and White Dragon King Island are just right for me to take over the White Tiger territory and the Black Dragon territory. Suddenly, a strong light shot out of Chen Ronghuo's eyes. Each of the 32 Grand Dukes of Bihai has his own backer. The backing of Grand Duke White Tiger is the Aurora King Island. White Dragon King Island is the backing of the Black Dragon Grand Duke. Normally, even if Chen Ronghuo was strong enough, he would have many scruples if he wanted to take over these 2 territories, but this time such changes occurred on the 2 King Islands, giving him a chance. The stronger the strength, the harder it is to kill. It is even more difficult to kill a 9th level strong man. With my current strength, if I attack the White Tiger territory or the Black Dragon territory, I want to kill the White Tiger in their territory. The Grand Duke and the Black Dragon Grand Duke are almost impossible. Chen Ronghuo narrowed his eyes, wondering if there was any way he could lure the snake out of its hole. Although he had made an agreement with the Great White Tiger on that day to fight in the stormy waters 1 month later, the plan could not keep up with the changes. Nowadays, the North Sea is turbulent, and now there are people who are so bold that they dare to go to the two King Islands, Aurora King Island and White Dragon King Island. He knows that he must seize some more time. Boom. But just as Chen Ronghuo was thinking this, his mind suddenly moved and he suddenly raised his head and looked into the distance. As he raised his head, he immediately saw a huge warship flying the White Tiger battle flag in the distance. It broke through the clouds and sailed towards Hikra Island like it was destroying everything. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Figures flew out of the river crab world and landed on the left and right of Chen Ronghuo. They were Wang Chao, Meng Tian, and others. Apparently, they also sensed something unusual. At this time, figures flew out from the huge warship coming from afar. The figure of Grand Duke Behu was among them. However, after Grand Duke Behu and others flew out, the huge warship continued to crash into the river crab leader, like a giant missile in the shape of a warship. Boom! The big river crab stretched out its dark claws in the sea water, like a strange mountain suddenly pulled out of the sea water. With a bang, the tip pierced through the entire warship. This warship was obviously a special flying secret treasure, and its level was not low, but facing the big river crab, it could not stop it for even a moment. Boom! Suddenly, a loud bang sounded from the tip of the big river crab. After being pierced, the warship suddenly exploded and became a huge mushroom cloud. This warship had obviously been equipped with a large number of self-destructing treasures by the people of the White Tiger territory. But after the mushroom cloud dissipated, Grand Duke Behu and others looked at the claws of the big river crab, and saw that it was dark and smooth, and was completely unscathed in the explosion just now. You and my lord agreed to fight in a month. What do you want to do by coming now? Zhen Qinzan stood beside Chen Ronghuo and spoke in a deep voice. The others also raised their spirits and prepared to deal with the next battle. This time Grand Duke Behu came here, it was obviously not as simple as a formality. At this time, they didn't know that Chen Ronghuo had made another big leap in his cultivation in a short time. In terms of strength, he was stronger than Grand Duke Behu, who was not in his territory. What are you here for? Before Grand Duke Behu could speak, Bai Chunping, who was standing not far from Grand Duke Behu, showed a grim smile on his face. Of course, I'm here to destroy your river crab territory. His arm that was torn off that day, I don't know what treasure he used, has grown back in a short time. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chao Ji Dupang. Chapter 457. What do you think? Didn't you expect it? Bai Chunping's voice was extremely ferocious. Today is the death day for you Hexi territory. I will make sure that you Hexi territory will not leave any chickens or dogs alive. The last time he came to Hexi territory, he was besieged by a group of people from Hexi territory, which eventually led to the death of his companion Tiger Beast, and his arms were torn off. If it weren't for the arrival of the White Tiger Duke, he would have died here that time. This time he recovered from his injuries, and when the White Tiger Duke came to attack Hexi territory, he ran directly without any hesitation. The purpose was to seek revenge on Hexi territory. You bastard, what are you yelling about? You don't accept it, right? If you don't accept it, come find your Grandpa Zhu later, and see if your Grandpa Zhu will beat the shit out of your stomach. Hearing Bai Chunping yelling, Zhu Deipen cursed on the spot. The reason why Bai Chunping was captured so quickly last time was that he took the initiative to bear Bai Chunping's attack with his chest. Bai Chunping set his eyes on Zhu Deipen, and his face immediately darkened, like a rainy day with dark clouds. Chen Ronghuo. At this time, the White Tiger Duke suddenly shouted. He stood tall in the air, and released all his strength without reservation, showing his strength. He stared sharply at Chen Ronghuo, who was surrounded by Zhu Deipen and 7 or 8 others, with a green light flashing in his eyes, as if he wanted to see through Chen Ronghuo's realm. However, the pupil technique he used was intercepted by an invisible force as soon as it reached Chen Ronghuo. But he was not surprised by this. He looked at Chen Ronghuo carefully. This time could be said to be his first meeting with Chen Ronghuo. The last time he came to the crab territory, Chen Ronghuo was refining the breath of the law of calamity in the crab world, so the two did not meet. You should not be an enemy of my white tiger territory. He spoke lightly. A simple sentence has revealed his determination to come this time. After the words fell, the aura of the white tiger duke reached its peak in an instant. At this time, the huge movement coming from the Aurora King Island had weakened. But the sound of fighting coming from the White Dragon King Island was even more shocking, as if the battle there had entered a white-hot stage. Like Chen Ronghuo, the White Tiger Duke did not know what had happened on the Aurora King Island and the White Dragon King Island. The changes on the two islands happened at this time, which could only be said to be too coincidental. So the White Tiger Duke also knew that time was running out. He knew that in order to prevent accidents, he had to take down Chen Ronghuo and Chen Ronghuo's river crab leader as soon as possible. Too much nonsense. Chen Ronghuo snorted coldly, if you want to fight, then come over and fight first. The White Tiger Duke narrowed his eyes, but because of Chen Ronghuo's calmness, he was suspicious and did not take action immediately, but tried, do you think the Black Dragon Duke will be your backer? Since I dare to come here this time, I have been prepared. Boom. Black Whale, get out of my way. Be loyal to me, I will stop you here for a quarter of an hour today. As if in line with the words of Grand Duke Beihu, a loud noise suddenly came from a distance, accompanied by a simple conversation. Chen Ronghuo raised his head and glanced into the distance. He knew that Grand Duke Black Dragon must have heard the noise here and was stopped when he rushed over. He set his eyes on Grand Duke Beihu, and saw that Grand Duke White Tiger was looking at him carefully, as if he wanted to see how he would react when he knew that Grand Duke Black Dragon could not come to support him. Seeing this scene, Chen Ronghuo did not pretend, but suddenly sneered, I, Chen Ronghuo, have come to this day through my own efforts, why do I need to borrow the power of others? You, a tiger beast, have too many thoughts, which makes people dislike you. Since you don't do it, I will take the initiative to kill you. Bai Xiao, 9th level mid-stage demon. Identity, Lord of the White Tiger Territory, Duke. Status, Roaring Sky Tiger Transformation. Qualification, 10. Arts, White Tiger Roaring Sky Sutra. When Chen Ronghuo saw the White Tiger Grand Duke for the first time, he knew that the so-called White Tiger Grand Duke was not a human at all, but a Roaring Sky Tiger incarnation. However, although he was a little surprised about this, he was not shocked. Some powerful demons in the world of gods can indeed transform into human form. After they transform into human form, they have children with humans, and the offspring born may not even have demon blood at all, but have some special talents. Chen Ronghuo estimated that Bai Tianj, the son of the White Tiger Grand Duke who was killed by him, was in this situation. After he finished speaking, he immediately took a step forward and flew up from the Hexi territory into the air. Chen Ronghuo's movements were so fast that Wang Qiao, Meng Tian, and others could not catch up. Rampant. Seeing Chen Ronghuo coming alone, the White Tiger Duke's face darkened slightly, and he waved his hand, Go, today I want to kill everyone in the Hexi territory. After receiving his order, the 40 or 50 people behind him immediately rushed to the Hexi territory. This time, the White Tiger Duke attacked the Hexi territory with only 40 or 50 people. But among the 40 or 50 people he brought, 10 were 8th level practitioners, and the rest were all 7th level or above practitioners. It can be said that in order to take down the Hexi territory, the White Tiger Duke had almost brought all the power of the White Tiger territory. Even the lords of the territories that depended on the White Tiger Island were brought here this time. This is how so many strong men were gathered. Mr. Zhu, come here. When Bai Chunping was killing his way to the Hexi territory, he went straight to Zhu Daipen. Okay. Zhu Daipen left, called Li Haishui, and rushed straight to Bai Chunping. He was naturally not afraid of Bai Chunping in a one-on-one fight. But this time, Chen Ronghuo had just secretly ordered them to fight quickly and leave all the practitioners of the White Tiger territory here. When his men rushed out, the White Tiger Duke locked his eyes on Chen Ronghuo. The last time Bai Chunping came to the Hexi territory, he had seen the strength of the Hexi territory. He knew that there were 8 8th-level practitioners such as Wan Kaamengtian in the Hexi territory. Even if the big river crab and the fat cat were counted, there were only 10 in total, which was exactly the same as the number of 8th-level practitioners under his command. In terms of strength, he was also confident that his men would not be inferior to the 8th-level practitioners of the Hexi territory. Boom boom. Just as he was thinking this, his strong men had already rushed to the Crab Island and fought with Chen Ronghuo's men. But as the battle started, the face of the White Tiger Duke suddenly changed. He turned his head quickly and his eyes fell on the sky above the Crab territory, but he saw that in an instant, more than 10 8th-level strong men rushed out from the Crab territory. Wang Chao, Meng Tian, Zhang Ji, Zhu Daipen, Li Haishui, Zhen Qinzan, Wu Piaoun, Chang Sunyi, De Hexi and Fat Cat, the 10 strong men who attacked last time, were among them. But this time, among the people who attacked the Crab territory, there were Chang Sun Gengjiang and Mu Dao Ren who had just joined the Crab territory. In addition to the 2 people, Chen Ronghuo's pets, 2 sea and sky birds, the devil mermaid, and the little white dragon, also attacked. Even from the Crab territory, there were colorful branches stretched out to whip the strong men of the White Tiger territory. At the same time, there were rays of colorful light falling, turning into strange power, boosting the power of the powerful people in the Crab territory. This time, even the colorful spirit butterflies and the colorful spirit trees took action together. In total, there were as many as 16 8th-level strongmen in the Crab territory. Moreover, Duke Beihu also discovered that the Fat Cat, who was only at the initial stage of the 8th level last time, had already reached the late stage of the 8th level when he met him again this time. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 458. Duke White Tiger was confused. This time, he led his men to attack the He Crab leader. He wanted to destroy the He Crab leader in one go, and then take revenge. While removing a major threat, he also killed the chicken as a warning. But after seeing the overall strength of He Crab leader, he immediately felt a chill that went from the root of his tail, along his spine, to his scalp. My scalp felt numb. Chen Ronghuo. Grand Duke Beihu turned his head and focused his gaze on Chen Ronghuo, who was slowly walking toward him in the distance. At this moment, he truly knew that he had underestimated Chen Ronghuo. Boom. But at this time, his men had already fought with Chen Ronghuo's men, and they were all entangled. Unless he is willing to give up the men he has cultivated and conquered over the years, he has no choice but to face Chen Ronghuo, who is standing in front of him, and capture Chen Ronghuo. Roar. His aura was completely released, and he soared upwards, vaguely seeming to turn into an extremely huge ferocious tiger. Staring at Chen Ronghuo with a pair of huge tiger eyes. A roar that penetrated the sky and the earth came from the mouth of the White Tiger Grand Duke. The next moment, he turned into a white lightning, rushed in front of Chen Ronghuo, raised his arm, transformed into a sharp tiger claw, and grabbed Chen Ronghuo's chest. This claw, combined with the tiger's roar, does not have many complicated changes, but it contains the true meaning of a wild and ferocious tiger pounces on food. It carries a great terror and great power. It can make the prey targeted by it feel uneasy, frightened, and have flaws. Seeing the white tiger archduke coming, Chen Ronghuo flipped his palms, raised his arms, turned into tiger claws, and faced the white tiger archduke's claws. Return to 1. Magic transformation. A golden red color appeared on Chen Ronghuo's arm, and the muscles swelled and bulged, vaguely seeming to transform into a huge tiger claw with golden red hair. The unbridled evil intent emanated from this claw, which was not inferior to the evil intent of the white tiger archduke's attack. But Chen Ronghuo's claw carried even more amazing power. At the same time, it is also accompanied by a heat that is vigorous and strange, with a special aura of curse, disaster, and so on. Boom! There was a loud noise in the void, and the attacks of Chen Ronghuo and Duke Baihu immediately shattered a huge black hole in space at the collision point. Rolling suction force surged out of the black hole, seeming to suck Chen Ronghuo and Duke Baihu into it. But in the face of this terrifying suction force, both Chen Ronghuo and Duke Baihu just shook their bodies and broke away from it, and then collided with each other for the second time. Boom boom boom. The void shook continuously, and with every shake, a huge black hole appeared. Chen Ronghuo and Duke Baihu both possess 9th level strength. The edge of the space black hole created by the fierce battle between the two people has the breath of law left by the two people, so it often lasts for a few breaths before it is repaired by the power of the law that already exists in the world. After the two of them fought hundreds of times in just a short period of time, the entire void nearby was completely pitch black. The two fought farther and farther away, as if two gods and demons were fighting. But as the battle raged, Grand Duke White Tiger was extremely frightened. He originally wanted to break through Chen Ronghuo's obstruction and go to help his men, but he found that Chen Ronghuo was blocking him like a big mountain. No matter what secret technique he casts, Chen Ronghuo can react immediately and use the most appropriate means to resist. It was as if Chen Ronghuo was extremely familiar with him and had fought against him hundreds of times. Ah! Suddenly, a scream sounded from a distance. Grand Duke Baihu's expression changed. He glanced out of the corner of his eye and discovered that Bai Chunping, whom he had rescued from the Hexian territory last time, was besieged by two 8th level cultivators from the Hexian territory as if they were desperate. One of them punched him to pieces. Half of his body was completely lifeless. In fact, Bai Chunping was not the first cultivator to die in this war. The first to die were those 7th level cultivators. At this time, there were already more than a dozen 7th level cultivators dead in the White Tiger territory. Ordinary 7th level cultivators will only be slaughtered when facing 8th level cultivators. If a 7th level cultivator dies, it will still be within the tolerance of Grand Duke White Tiger. Then one 8th level subordinate died, and even more 8th level subordinates would die soon, which finally made him completely crazy. Here. Me. Get out. Drive away. The White Tiger Duke roared angrily. The 4 words turned into 4 howls, faintly forming word seals, and charged towards Chen Ronghuo. Facing these 4 character seals, Chen Ronghuo's eyes seemed to show a trace of surprise. He hesitated for a moment, then raised his hand and punched out. Boom! Chen Ronghuo's punch directly smashed the 4 character seals into pieces. But when Chen Ronghuo smashed these 4 character seals, a glimmer of light flashed in Grand Duke Baihu's eyes, because he finally caught Chen Ronghuo's flaw. Whoosh! His figure was like lightning, and with a sharp turn in the void, he arrived at the battlefield of 8th level cultivators in the distance. At this time, Dahi Crab was holding up 2 large pincers, one black and one white, and bombarded a middle-level 8th level cultivator in the White Tiger territory. With its strength, the mid-8th level cultivator had been beaten to the point of vomiting blood and was about to lose his life. Grand Duke White Tiger came over, and when he saw this scene, a cruel look appeared on his face, and he directly dropped his tiger claw. When his tiger claws fell, they began to grow in size, like the hands of a tiger demon, going straight into the head of a big river crab. Return to 1. Magic contract. Behind Grand Duke Beihu, Chen Ronghuo turned around slowly, a smile appeared on his face, and with a sudden movement of consciousness, he quickly transferred his power in the void and blessed the big river crab. In order to kill the White Tiger Duke in one fell swoop. In order to prevent Grand Duke White Tiger from becoming wary and abandoning his men and running away directly, Chen Ronghuo and Grand Duke White Tiger had only used the strength equivalent to that of a mid-level 9th level cultivator before. It is precisely because of this that Grand Duke White Tiger is lucky and wants to save a few more of his men. But this time, Chen Ronghuo deliberately exposed a flaw. After anesthetizing Grand Duke White Tiger, he already planned to go all out. Call. The big river crab, blessed by the power of Chen Ronghuo, raised its two large black and white pincers at the same time, crossed them together, and faced the claws of the white tiger demon tiger. Boom! There was a loud sound in the void, and the big river crab quickly retreated in the sea water. I have been taking 7 or 8 steps backward. But there was not a single scratch on its two pincers, and they were unscathed. In the void, Duke White Tiger looked at the big river crab with surprise on his face. But just when the surprise appeared in his eyes, the big river crab had already regrouped, raised its two pincers again, and charged at him. At the same time, he also sensed a terrifying force coming from behind him. This was a terrifying force that completely exceeded his expectations. Grand Duke White Tiger turned his head, the look of shock on his face almost solidified. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 459. Chen Ronghuo came across space. His whole body was burning with black and red flames, like a demon coming out of purgatory. He stretched out one hand forward, as if a terrifying mountain range was suppressing him. The pearl of disaster turned into a grey eye in the palm of his hand, filled with the aura of disaster, curse, catastrophe, etc. When the White Tiger Archduke turned back, he met this eye and immediately felt as if he was being stared at by an unknown evil god. As a mid-level 9th level cultivator and a duke in charge of a huge territory, his strength can undoubtedly be said to be outstanding among practitioners of the same level. But at this time, when he faced Chen Ronghuo, who had no color in his eyes, he felt like he was a prisoner on the beheading stage, being tightly bound and facing the executioner. The fear in his eyes magnified, reflecting into the depths of his soul. At this moment, the White Tiger Grand Duke, faced with the sudden outbreak of Chen Ronghuo, was almost sinking and unable to extricate himself. Buzz! Suddenly, a white divine tiger shadow deep in the soul of Grand Duke White Tiger suddenly shook, and let out a coercive roar in the sea of his soul. Amidst the roar, the White Tiger Grand Duke finally came to his senses. Roar! There was a strong sense of surprise in his eyes. When he saw Chen Ronghuo's approaching big hand and the two huge claws of the river crab crossing him from the front again, a look of madness appeared on his face. He opened his mouth and let out a cry. Tigers roared in all directions. Amidst the roar of the tiger, his body suddenly grew larger, and his two big hands turned into tiger claws, stretched out in front of him. In a circle, a golden shield with a tiger entrenched was formed. On top of this golden shield, in addition to the tiger, there are countless other wild beasts, lions, snakes, wolves, etc. among them. It seems that these savage beasts were once the prey hunted by the fierce tiger. Under such a scene, this golden shield is filled with a wild atmosphere. It looks extremely extraordinary and has an indelible feeling. Boom! Chen Ronghuo's big hand and the two pincers of the big river crab landed on the golden shield one after another. Grand Duke White Tiger's pupils tightened and he stared at the shield in front of him. This is his strongest defensive method, but it is also his last protective method. Click! Suddenly, a cracking sound came from the golden shield, and then cracks appeared on the entire shield. The cracks grew from small to large, and spread all over the golden shield in the blink of an eye. Under the extreme power, even this extraordinary golden tiger mask is unbearable. A moment later, a loud bang was heard, and the entire golden shield exploded into countless spiritual light fragments, flying in all directions. After the golden shield exploded, the power of the big river crab's blow was exhausted. It retracts the two pliers and charges for the second time. But Chen Ronghuo's big hand, after smashing the golden shield, moved forward with determination and continued to attack the White Tiger Duke. The White Tiger Grand Duke had no time to respond, so he could only extend his tiger claws and use his body to receive the blow. But because he had just summoned the golden shield, his power had not yet reached its peak. When he received Chen Ronghuo's claw, his body suddenly banged and he was knocked upside down. Boom! Behind him, facing the White Tiger Duke who was flying straight towards him like a spinning flying ball, the big river crab, after accumulating strength, thrust out its pincers, bent its joints, and ejected towards the White Tiger Duke like a spring. The dark and sharp giant pliers, like a black lightning, broke through the space and arrived behind the White Tiger Archduke in the blink of an eye. The White Tiger Grand Duke sensed the danger of the sharp edge on his back. He only had time to half-turn his body and spread his hands before he was hit by the big river crab again and hit Chen Ronghuo. Chen Ronghuo had withdrawn his left hand at this time, then turned his right hand into a fist and struck it at Duke Beihu. Grand Duke White Tiger was hit one after another, and blood overflowed from the corner of his mouth. He was heartbroken, but instinctively refused to give up. He turned around again, put his two claws together, and faced Chen Ronghuo's right fist. Boom! There was a loud bang. After receiving Chen Ronghuo's blow, Duke Beihu felt as if his entire body was about to fall apart. He raised his head slightly and saw the distant sky, with the setting sun turning red. It seems to be telling that this time, he is doomed. Black Dragon. Suddenly, the White Tiger Grand Duke seemed to have thought of something, and let out a roar that spread far away. He called Black Dragon because he wanted his old enemy, Duke Black Dragon, to save him. He and the Black Dragon Grand Duke had been fighting each other for many years, with no outcome in sight. This time the river crab leader came out of nowhere, which made him feel the crisis, so he came to destroy Chen Ronghuo. Before, he thought that the Black Dragon Grand Duke would stop him, so he also found the Black Whale Ancestor, a great demon in the North Sea, and promised him many benefits to specifically block the Black Dragon Grand Duke. When he was fighting Chen Ronghuo just now, he even heard the sound of the Black Whale Ancestor fighting with the Black Dragon Duke. But as he Xieling showed great strength, and as Chen Ronghuo showed strength comparable to that of a late 9th level cultivator, the news of the battle between the Black Whale Ancestor and the Black Dragon Grand Duke had stopped. Obviously, the Black Whale Ancestor and the Black Dragon Grand Duke were both shocked by what Chen Ronghuo showed. The White Tiger Grand Duke believes that the Black Dragon Grand Duke will definitely think that if he is killed by Chen Ronghuo and his White Tiger territory is destroyed by Chen Ronghuo, then the next days of the Black Dragon territory will definitely not be easy. Lord Chen, the White Tiger Duke attacked your Hexi territory this time, and so many people died. He has been punished. Just give me a favor and let him go this time, how about that? After the White Tiger Duke finished speaking, a voice, accompanied by a strong pressure, came from a distance. Black Dragon Duke. Chen Ronghuo raised his eyebrows. But without any hesitation, he stretched out a claw and grabbed the White Tiger Duke. This time, no one can stop him from killing the White Tiger Duke. He not only wants to kill the White Tiger Duke, but also the White Tiger territory, completely wiped out. Although the White Tiger Duke is a mid-level 9th order cultivator, if the White Tiger territory is counted, Chen Ronghuo can obtain more breath of the Law of Calamity by destroying him than by killing a late-level 9th order cultivator. Before, he subdued the 5-sex alliance and broke through to the half-step 9th level, and there was still some breath of the Law of Calamity left. Counting the breadth of the law of calamity, this time, as long as he kills the White Tiger Duke and destroys the White Tiger leader, he can even break through to the 9th level in one fell swoop. There was a crazy look in Chen Ronghuo's eyes. Before the tiger claws in his left hand arrived, the tiger claws in his right hand continued to grab out. If he breaks through to the 9th level, he can even fight with ordinary 9th level peak practitioners. At that time, there will be not many people in the entire North Sea who can do anything to him. Even the demigod level strongmen in the 10 King Islands will not find it easy to kill him. Boom boom boom. Chen Ronghuo cooperated with the big river crab, grabbing with both claws continuously, making the White Tiger Duke a blood-stained man. At this time, the pressure from afar was getting stronger and stronger. It was obvious that the Black Dragon Duke was approaching quickly. Chen Ronghuo even sensed that the person coming was not alone. The one who intercepted the Black Dragon Duke before actually came over at this time. As a 9th rank warrior, Duke Black Dragon is extremely fast and will arrive soon. Chen Rong's eyes flashed with brilliance. In the midst of the continuous attacks, when he sensed that Duke White Tiger was about to reach his limit, he suddenly had an idea and gave a little strength to the fat cat that was quietly approaching the battlefield. Meow. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 460. Meow. Fat Cat has the ability to restrain dragon and tiger monsters. It swallowed Bai Chunping's companion White Tiger last time and broke through to the late 8th level. At this time, it was blessed by Chen Ronghuo's power, and its strength immediately soared. In this state, it opened its mouth, and in the dark mouth, there was a faint vortex slowly rotating in the depths. In the vortex, 2 ancient characters, dragon and tiger, were vaguely visible. Accompanied by its humming, the 2 characters seemed to be lit up. In an instant, the light was bright, and it faintly locked onto the White Tiger Duke in the distance. The White Tiger Duke's body stiffened, as if it was frozen in mid-air. Even after being frozen, its body seemed to shrink a little under the action of a strange force. Almost all monsters practice the law of blood. Fat Cat also practices the law of blood. Life that cultivates the blood law can give birth to blood ability. Fat Cat's ability to specifically restrain dragon and tiger monsters is its blood ability. When the White Tiger Duke was frozen in the void by the ability of the Fat Cat, Chen Ronghuo did not hesitate and immediately reached out with another claw. The power of the devil. His arm muscles bulged and became extremely huge, showing a green color, but the surface burned with black and red flames, like a terrifying volcano, crossing the space and suppressing the 9 heavens and 10 earths. The sea water within a radius of hundreds of miles was instantly evaporated when his big hand fell. The low-level monsters living in this area of water were turned into nothingness under the aftermath of this claw before they could escape. The strength equivalent to that of a late-stage 9th level cultivator was fully demonstrated by Chen Ronghuo at this moment. Stop. Suddenly, just as Chen Ronghuo was about to kill the White Tiger Duke with one blow, a condescending shout suddenly came from a distance, as if the monarch was giving orders to his subjects. Once the minister disobeys the order, he will be ordered to be beheaded, or even his entire clan will be exterminated. Chen Ronghuo's eyes flashed. The voice was not from the Black Dragon Duke who was rushing from afar, but from someone else. And just by listening to the voice, you can tell that this person, in terms of strength, may not be inferior to him at this moment. This sharp shout was like thunder, and when it sounded, it immediately woke up the White Tiger Duke from his trance. The awakened White Tiger Duke showed a hint of joy on his face, as if he already knew who the visitor was. Knowing that this person had arrived, his crisis could probably be resolved. Huh! In a flash, Chen Ronghuo exhaled, and his originally sharp eyes became as sharp as a sword as he exhaled. Aurora King Island? At this time, Chen Ronghuo had already calculated the origin of the visitor through ancient books. All the 32 Duke-level islands in the North Sea can only exist in the North Sea if they are attached to some kind of king island. And the one that the White Tiger territory is attached to is the Aurora King Island. Today, no one can save you. A ray of black light shot out from Chen Ronghuo's eyes, just meeting the tiger pupils of the White Tiger Grand Duke, who raised his head. Return to one. Demonic soul. The White Tiger Grand Duke's body shook, and he felt as if he was being stared at by a terrifying existence. How dare you? As soon as the White Tiger Grand Duke's thoughts came to mind, Chen Ronghuo's huge hand, like the Flame Mountain range, boomed and completely covered him. A rich golden light burst out from Chen Ronghuo's hand, like a golden sun. This was the White Tiger Grand Duke's last struggle. However, as Chen Ronghuo's hand clenched and rubbed, the golden light emanating from his palm gradually faded until it completely lost its luster. One of the 32 Grand Dukes of the North Sea, the White Tiger Grand Duke who had lived for tens of thousands of years, died. Chen Ronghuo retracted his hand, turned his head, looked at the battlefield of the 8th level cultivators in the distance where only a few people were struggling, and then waited quietly. Waiting for the people from Aurora King Island. Meow. The fat cat turned into an orange-yellow lightning and arrived in front of the White Tiger Duke, who was floating in the air and had turned into a huge white tiger. He opened his mouth and swallowed it whole with great greed, completely ignoring the blood all over his body and his eyes staring. At this time, as the people from Aurora King Island rushed here, the Black Dragon Duke, who was originally rushing here at an accelerated speed, and the Black Whale Ancestor, who was invited by the White Tiger Duke to entangle the Black Dragon Duke, had stopped moving. The Black Dragon Duke was attached to the White Dragon King Island. The relationship between the White Dragon King Island and the Aurora King Island was not good. Boom. At this moment, a figure suddenly fell from the sky and turned into a golden figure, exuding a tremendous momentum and suppressing the endless sea. Most of the momentum was pressed on Chen Ronghuo. I told you to stop, didn't you hear me? Then came an angry question. Chen Ronghuo raised his head, his hands naturally dropped, and his calm eyes fell on the person who came, identifying the person's attributes. Bai Tianyuan, late 9th level cultivator. Qualification, 9. Skills, Bright Heavenly Scripture. Identity, 4th Commander of Aurora Territory. Secret Treasure, Helmet of Light, can assist in casting the Bright Domain and amplify oneself. I heard you, didn't you tell me to stop? Chen Ronghuo said calmly. I stopped, but before I stopped, I hit him again. Who knew he was so vulnerable to being hit, and he died in one blow. The handsome-looking Bai Tianyuan's face suddenly twisted slightly when he heard that Chen Ronghuo was playing tricks on him. In all his years of life, he had never been so disrespected by someone who came out of nowhere. He snorted coldly and immediately slapped his hat on. The White Tiger territory is attached to my Aurora King Island. By killing the White Tiger Grand Duke, do you want to become an enemy of my Aurora King Island? If it had been anyone else, he would have taken action long ago. But with the strength that Chen Ronghuo had just shown, he knew that even if he took action, he might not be able to defeat Chen Ronghuo. What's more, this is Chen Ronghuo's territory. Don't dare. Chen Ronghuo shook his head and said with a smile, I killed Duke White Tiger because he wanted to kill me. If he wanted to kill me, I couldn't stick out my neck and let him kill me, right? But since the White Tiger territory is a subsidiary territory of your Aurora King Island, then I will destroy him. How about giving you another subsidiary territory? Give us another dependent territory. Bai Tianyuan seemed to have thought of something, and his eyes suddenly narrowed. That's right. I wonder if you think my River Crab Island is qualified to be attached to your Aurora King Island. Chen Ronghuo raised his head and said. Relying on Aurora King Island is naturally just a temporary measure. This time he killed the White Tiger Archduke, but he still needed to digest it. Before that, Aurora King Island was the mountain that protected him from wind and rain. At any other time, his idea would definitely not work. He killed the White Tiger Archduke, and the Aurora territory would not be able to accept him even for the sake of face. But thinking about the news that had just come out of Aurora King Island and some of the things he had deduced from ancient books, Chen Ronghuo knew that it was not impossible to realize his idea. Through calculation, he suddenly discovered that the movements that had just come from the Aurora King Island and the White Dragon King Island were actually caused by the subordinate forces of the Black Demon Heavenly Palace. The Black Demon Heavenly Palace has penetrated into Bihai on a large scale from the demon-sealed land. Looking at Chen Ronghuo, who always had a smile on his face, Bai Tianyuan's mind was spinning, and he suddenly raised his eyebrows and said, "This time the White Tiger Archduke attacks your river crab territory, so it should be a calamity. You can also rely on me, Aurora King Island, if you want. But you have to hand over all the power of faith captured this time to our Aurora King Island. Do you want to fight with me?" Chen Ronghuo's expression changed and he suddenly looked directly at Bai Tianyuan. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 461. If you want to fight with me, then come. Chen Ronghuo's face was slightly cold. I want to rely on your Aurora King Island, but I can't only rely on your Aurora King Island. I finally conquered the White Tiger territory, and you have to ask me to hand over all the spoils. This is how your Aurora King Island treats its subordinate territories. Attitude. For Chen Ronghuo, how could it be possible to give away the fat he had obtained so easily? Not to mention that the power of faith is far more important to him now than before. He opened the 8th seal page of the ancient book and revealed a black dog, which could purify the power of faith to the limit and exert its original effect dozens of times. In this case, Bai Tianyuan wanted to take the meat from his mouth. It would be strange if he didn't fight Bai Tianyuan to death. If it weren't for Bai Tianyuan's special status, he would have taken action long ago and killed Bai Tianyuan, thereby creating another wave of calamity laws. Do you think you are the true God when you talk to him in such a condescending manner? However, it won't be long. After he has digested what he gained this time, he will have some confidence when he faces King Island in the future. Chen Ronghuo's eyes sparkled. Nowadays, he can no longer be manipulated by anyone. Bai Tianyuan was stunned. Chen Ronghuo's reaction was completely beyond his expectation. He looked at Chen Ronghuo in bewilderment. Doesn't this person know what kind of existence the Aurora King Island is? Here in Bihai, are there still forces that dare to ignore Wang Dao's words? By the way, suddenly, Chen Ronghuo seemed to have thought of something and asked, "Sir, you don't know what happened on Aurora King Island and White Dragon King Island just now, so that there was such a big movement?" Hearing Chen Ronghuo's words, Bai Tianyuan narrowed his eyes suddenly. At this time, he finally understood why Chen Ronghuo was so confident. Do you think our Aurora King Island is surrounded by powerful enemies and we have no time to deal with you? You are quite courageous, Bai Tianyuan sneered. You are as courageous as the people who just attacked our Aurora King Island. But my Aurora King Island has existed for millions of years, so not everyone can make up my mind. Certainly. Chen Ronghuo smiled. I, the leader of the river crab, are now attached to your Aurora King Island, and I can be regarded as a grasshopper on a rope. It's just that although I am a subordinate, you should not give me a chill. Bai Tianyuan's nose was almost broken by Chen Rong's anger. Attachment. Is this your attitude of dependence? He turned his eyes and saw in the distance that the only half-step 9th level cultivator left by Grand Duke Beihu was still being besieged by Chen Ronghuo's men. Under the siege of a group of Chen Ronghuo's men, even if that person had half a 9th level cultivation, he began to be in danger. When he looked over, the White Tiger Archduke's men immediately showed a look of help in their eyes, wanting him to save them. Since you, the river crab leader, are already attached to my Aurora King Island, why do you need to kill them all? Boom. Suddenly, Bei Tianyuan was so angry that he directly raised his hand, turned into a bright palm print, and slapped it on the battlefield in the distance. This is the Great Light Mudra, one of the secret techniques he practiced, which is extremely powerful. This hand seal of his was not only to rescue the half-step 9th level cultivator, but also to teach Chen Ronghuo a lesson by teaching Chen Ronghuo's men a lesson. Although there was no killing intent in his palm, if an 8th level cultivator were to hit it, he would definitely suffer some injuries. But as soon as Bei Tianyuan made a move, Chen Ronghuo reacted. He said nothing. But the movement of his hand was extremely fast, like lightning, and he directly grabbed out a golden red tiger claw. At the same time, burning the power of faith, he faced Bei Tianyuan's great bright handprint without hesitation. Boom! The void shook violently. Bei Tianyuan took action, just a casual blow. But when Chen Ronghuo took action, he went all out. With one palm strike, Chen Ronghuo used his tiger claws to destroy Bei Tianyuan's great light hand seal. Immediately, his mind moved, and the tiger claws transformed from his big hand actually used the force of the counter shock to swipe in the opposite direction, hitting the half-step 9th level cultivator with a bang. Under the siege of Cao Cao and others, the cultivator was seriously injured and was in critical condition. At this time, he could not react in time and was slapped by Chen Ronghuo with his backhand. His body was actually exploded by Chen Ronghuo on the spot, spilling blood all over the sky. Seeing this scene, Bei Tianyuan's steel teeth were almost broken. He has really never seen anyone as courageous as Chen Ronghuo. Late 9th level cultivators are very strong. But no matter how strong he is, he can only be about the same as him. A cultivator of this level is determined to compete with Wang Dao. In his opinion, it is like an old man hanging himself and seeking death. At this time, after Chen Ronghuo killed the half-step 9th level cultivator with one blow, he slowly raised his head and his eyes fell on the extremely angry Bei Tianyuan. This man is a direct subordinate of Grand Duke White Tiger. Keeping him is probably going to be detrimental to Aurora King Island. If I kill him, it will be regarded as a vote of trust. I will vote for you. Bei Tianyuan almost cursed. In addition, since King Island was attacked by someone just now, you must be very busy, right? Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo said again, in this case, sir, you should go back to King Island as soon as possible, and don't waste time staying here with me. But don't worry, sir, in addition to the war loot I got from killing the White Tiger Archduke this time, from now on I will receive what I should provide to King Island every year, and I guarantee that there will not be any less. Chen Ronghuo's time is very precious now. He just killed the White Tiger Duke, and his men also killed a group of 7th and 8th level strong men. Next, he only needs to go to the White Tiger territory and completely take over the White Tiger territory. It is estimated that he will be able to break through to the 9th level in one fell swoop. So he felt annoyed when he saw Bei Tianyuan dawdling in front of him. Since he was annoyed, he naturally had to find a way to drive him away. Okay. 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 Bei Tianyuan laughed in anger. Chen Ronghuo, huh? You really have personality. I will remember you this time. Swoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, he turned into a golden stream of light and quickly disappeared into the sky. Here, he really couldn't stay. If his strength was stronger than Chen Ronghuo, he would definitely slap Chen Ronghuo to death with a slap. Even at other times, he would return to the territory and call his friends to kill Chen Ronghuo. But at this moment, in this situation, he could only endure it first. Although he was a recluse, he had already made up his mind that when the situation stabilized, he would definitely return all the insults that Chen Ronghuo had inflicted on him today. Chen Ronghuo looked at Bei Tianyuan's rapidly disappearing figure, raised his fist, looked at it, and couldn't help but sigh that he was still not strong enough. Go to Beihu territory. With a flash of his figure, Chen Ronghuo landed on the river crab territory. The big river crab received the order and immediately swam quickly in the sea water. It was huge in size and weighed an unknown number of pounds, but it was still able to swim freely in the sea water. If you are interested, you can take a look. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 462. Boom. The big river crab rushed to the white tiger's territory very quickly, like a huge reef that could move in the sea. On its back, Chen Ronghuo and his generals stood high-spirited and facing the wind. The White Tiger Grand Duke, one of the 32 Grand Dukes of Beihai, fell into their hands like this, which would definitely exceed everyone's expectations. Everyone turned their heads from time to time and glanced at Chen Ronghuo, who was holding the fat cat in his arms. To this day, Chen Ronghuo's image in their eyes has always been extremely mysterious. Sometimes even they themselves don't know where they will end up on the path of practice by following Chen Ronghuo. Suddenly, when he was about to arrive at the White Tiger territory, Chen Ronghuo suddenly turned his head and looked behind him. The movement that came from the direction of Aurora King Island has long since disappeared. Bei Tianyuan rushed to him from Aurora King Island, which also showed that the crisis on Aurora King Island has been resolved. However, the noise coming from White Dragon King Island has continued until now, and then gradually declined. Chen Ronghuo mobilized a bit of soul power, poured into the ancient books, and began to calculate the situation on White Dragon King Island. As he has cultivated to the current state, the ability of ancient books has been strengthening. Now, using the technique of deduction, even if the energy accumulated in the ancient book itself is not enough, even if his soul power is not enough, he may still get some enlightenment, instead of being unable to deduce anything like originally. Of course, the more levels of existence he deduces than himself, the fewer revelations he can get. Sometimes it's even blurry and nothing. This time, as Chen Ronghuo started to deduce from the ancient book, a few intermittent lines of text immediately appeared in the ancient book, and then these words changed and turned into a picture, flooding into his mind. In the picture, the huge White Dragon King Island has been turned into ruins. On top of the ruins, there were countless strange snakes and strange cultivators with red eyes dancing wildly, creating a scene of a group of demons dancing wildly. At this moment, the scene suddenly changed, and a beautiful woman with black and red lips appeared. From around the beautiful woman, a huge tailless snake-shaped shadow covered the sky and sun, hovering in the void. White Dragon King Island was destroyed. Suddenly, Chen Ronghuo changed. Through deduction, he discovered that White Dragon King Island, one of the 10 King Islands in the North Sea, no longer exists. Is that woman the resurrected Gadot Snake Mother who is half a step below the Lord of Darkness? Chen Ronghuo took a deep breath, closed his eyes, and slowly opened them after a while. Now, compared with the 10 King Islands in the North Sea, there is still a big gap. However, White Dragon King Island, one of the 10 King Islands, was destroyed by the Jado Snake Mother and another force under the command of the Black Demon Heavenly Palace in a short period of time. Therefore, even though his strength has greatly increased now, Chen Ronghuo still feels bursts of pressure. Gods, what are you doing? Chen Ronghuo was confused. According to the information he received, the gods once fought with the Lord of the Dark Demon and cut off half of the gods' continent, turning it into a demon sealing place to seal the Lord of the Dark Demon. Now that the Lord of Darkness wants to break out of the seal, why would the gods ignore him? Are we here? When his thoughts turned around, Chen Ronghuo heard the voices of people around him and raised his head, only to see an archipelago composed of dozens of large islands appearing in his eyes. This archipelago is the territory of the White Tiger Grand Duke. Take this. Chen Ronghuo glanced at this place for a few times and said, in addition, Xiaoruo, Please make arrangements to replace all the territorial owners who were attached to the White Tiger territory and died in the war with our people. I also ordered that the power of faith produced by other Marquis and Earl level territories that are attached to the White Tiger territory in the next 200 years must be handed over to our River Crab territory. 200 years later, I will only have 10% of the power of faith they produce every year. Yes. Xiaoruo was surprised. I don't know why Chen Ronghuo is so eager to obtain the power of faith. However, for those Marquis and Earl level territories that were previously attached to the White Tiger territory, the power of faith generated over 200 years in exchange for only 10% of the power of faith every year is definitely a huge advantage. Boom! The whole big river crab rushed into the Behu Islands. On Behu Island in the center of the archipelago, a huge formation activated by countless people blocked the way of the big river crab. Duke Behu died, and Behu Island was already in chaos. But there are obviously strong people guarding here, and Behu Island has not been completely chaotic. Go to hell! Just when Chen Ronghuo and others rushed here, the large formation in front suddenly rioted, and it seemed that it was going to turn into a huge nuclear bomb and explode on the spot. Obviously the people guarding White Tiger Island were very loyal to Grand Duke White Tiger. After learning that Grand Duke White Tiger was dead, they suddenly wanted to lead countless people to control the formation to self-destruct, so as to attack Chen Ronghuo and others, so as to avenge Grand Duke White Tiger. Some large formations were destroyed, and he was destroyed. However, some formations have the ability to self-destruct. When they self-destruct, they can explode into capabilities that far exceed those of the formation itself. Facing the formation that was about to self-destruct, Chen Ronghuo just glanced at it and then withdrew his gaze, his expression extremely calm. Roar! Suddenly, just when the big formation in front of him was about to destroy itself, the fat cat lying in Chen Ronghuo's arms suddenly opened his mouth and let out a deafening roar. Accompanied by the sound of the roaring tiger, the formation in front of it trembled, and then it collapsed with a bang. In the past, Fat Cat had been in a weak state for a long time because it devoured tiger and dragon demons unevenly, but after that, it seemed to have completed another self-evolution, and this situation never happened again. And as its strength became stronger and stronger, the speed at which it consumed tiger and dragon demons became faster and faster. Although the White Tiger Duke's cultivation level was as high as the middle stage of the 9th level, after the Fat Cat devoured it, it has now refined most of it. Its own cultivation level has quietly advanced to the 9th level ahead of Chen Ronghuo. And it also obtained the memory of the White Tiger Duke and some of the White Tiger Duke's magical powers. It is precisely because of this that it also knows that the White Tiger Duke had left a hidden hand in the island protection formation in front of it. This formation that can even block the 9th level cultivator for a period of time can be broken by waving in front of the White Tiger Duke. Since Fat Cat can imitate everything of the White Tiger Duke, this formation naturally cannot stop it at all. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The formation was broken, and Chen Ronghuo's men immediately rushed to the White Tiger Island. No. A shrill roar sounded, but it stopped in an instant. Now Chen Ronghuo's men are stronger than tigers and wolves. At the same time, Chen Ronghuo also came to the Lord statue of the White Tiger Duke, holding Fat Cat. After the death of the White Tiger Duke, the Lord statue has become extremely dim. Chen Ronghuo put his hand on it and began to touch out the divine attributes one by one. Even if he no longer needs to perfect the divine seal, the divine attribute still has a huge effect on him. He guessed that he could even use the divine attribute to bless a divine weapon. Thanks to the book friend Laughing at Life for the 600 coin reward, and the book friend second for the 100 coin reward. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Chao Ji Dupang. Chapter 463. When Chen Ronghuo got all the divine attributes and faith power from the Lord statue of the White Tiger Grand Duke, he was slightly moved. The White Tiger territory has existed for countless years. In all these years, although most of the faith power obtained by the White Tiger territory has been used up, the faith power stored in the Lord statue of the White Tiger Grand Duke is still not a small number. He believed that after he asked the Black Dog to purify these faith powers, he would be able to greatly enhance the overall strength of the Crab Island. While thinking, Chen Ronghuo made some arrangements and returned to the Crab World to start his retreat. This time he killed the White Tiger Grand Duke, took over the White Tiger territory, and obtained the breath of the Law of Calamity, which could allow him to improve his cultivation. Although his strength is not too weak now, after calculating that the Gardo Snake Mother broke the seal and took over the White Dragon territory, he now has a very strong sense of crisis in his heart. Black Dragon territory. Before retreating, Chen Ronghuo muttered to himself. He felt a little sorry. Previously, because Bai Tianyuan arrived, the Black Dragon Duke did not continue to come. Otherwise, if he took the opportunity to capture the Black Dragon Duke this time, the harvest would be really great. Breakthrough first, and then talk about it after the breakthrough. With a move of consciousness, Chen Ronghuo drove away all the distracting thoughts in his mind, and then began to refine the breath of the law of catastrophe that he obtained this time, and once again swam in the world of cultivation. Is the Black Demon Palace really going to be born? The fall of the White Dragon King Island shook the entire North Sea. In fact, some large forces knew what the Black Demon Palace had done over the years before this. Knowing that the Black Demon Palace had already set off a bloody storm in the Demon Sealing Land. Some people even knew that now there are signs of the Black Demon Palace's activities on the central continent of the world of gods. But few people know that the Black Demon Palace has penetrated the North Sea so deeply. It actually took down the White Dragon King Island with one move. White Dragon King Island ranks 8th among the 10 great islands in the North Sea. Its fall can be said to have caused a great uproar in the entire North Sea. Let's put the matter of the Crab territory aside for now. In the Aurora territory, a figure wearing great light armor sat on the Lord's throne and spoke indifferently. This time, the Slaughter Temple and the woman from the 10,000 Snake Island attacked together and destroyed the White Dragon King Island. We must also be vigilant. Suddenly, an old man asked, "Lord, do you know who that woman is?" The Aurora Lord was silent for a moment, and replied in a deep voice, "If I am not mistaken, according to the records, she is likely to be the resurrection of the god General Jiatuo Snake Mother under the seat of the Lord of the Black Demon." As soon as he finished speaking, the whole hall was filled with the sound of gasping. Everyone knows that Jiatuo Snake Mother was once a half-step pillar god-level strongman. Once a strongman of this level is resurrected, it is simply unimaginable. Contact other territories and form a North Sea alliance. Black Dragon territory. When the Black Dragon Grand Duke learned that his backer, the White Dragon territory, had fallen, he was completely stunned. He was different from the White Tiger Grand Duke. He could be said to be a pure human cultivator. He was originally from the White Dragon territory, but for some reason, his bloodline mutated from the White Dragon bloodline to the current Black Dragon bloodline, so he was sent out by the White Dragon territory to lead a Duke-level territory. Relying on his own strength and the White Tiger territory as a backer, he could be said to have lived a smooth life. But as the White Dragon territory fell, he suddenly panicked and didn't know how to act in the future. The River Crab territory has an attribute plane, is what you said true? A bear cultivator wearing a black robe and covering half of his face with a cloak stood on the sea, looking at the person in front of him with some surprise. The person in front of him was Ningyun from the Black Dragon territory. Of course it's true. Ningyun nodded. Decades ago, he was thinking about whether to tell the messenger of the Temple of Slaughter that the River Crab territory had an attribute plane, but he had never made up his mind. Until this time, when the White Tiger Grand Duke was killed by Chen Ronghuo, and all the 8th level practitioners in the White Tiger territory were slaughtered by Chen Ronghuo, and the White Dragon territory, the backer of the Black Dragon territory, fell. He finally made up his mind. His hatred for the River Crab territory was not small. In order to cover up his own mistakes, he once wanted to wipe out the River Crab territory from this world. In this case, once Chen Ronghuo had a mind to take over the Black Dragon territory, he would hardly have any luck. Very good, I believe your news will interest some high-level officials of the Temple of Slaughter. When the news is confirmed to be true, the Temple of Slaughter will not be stingy with your reward. The black-robed practitioner smiled hoarsely. Immediately, he explained a few more words to Ning Yun, and then he moved and disappeared from in front of Ning Yun. After the messenger of the Temple of Slaughter left, Ning Yun stood on the sea water, speechless for a long time. He actually didn't want to have too much contact with the Temple of Slaughter, but today, he had to do it. Chen Ronghuo. Ning Yun took a deep breath, a little confused. Where did Chen Ronghuo and Chen Ronghuo's River Crab territory come from? River Crab territory. Chen Ronghuo was practicing in his closed-door chamber, breathing slowly, like an old turtle, calm and peaceful, giving people a sense of natural harmony. However, as he practiced, the aura he exuded became stronger and stronger. It was like a terrifying storm brewing in a calm sea. Chen Ronghuo was addicted to this feeling, and he was not afraid of it for the rest of his life. Unfortunately, after only one day of normal time flow, he woke up from his practice. It's not that a good car can't run, but that the oil is gone. Chen Ronghuo felt that there was no breath of the law of calamity in his soul sea, and sighed. Fortunately, after this practice, he finally stepped into the 9th level completely. Now that the gods are not visible, the 9th level practitioners in this world are already the absolute top practitioners. Now I should be able to fight against the 9th level peak practitioners, right? Chen Ronghuo stood up from the closed-door secret room. Although his strength improved rapidly, he still did not feel satisfied. Now he can still challenge higher level players. But according to his estimation, even if his cultivation level breaks through again and reaches the middle stage of the 9th level, he may not be the opponent of the demigod level strongman. Because those who can cultivate to the semi-god level are all favored by heaven when they are at a low level, and they can also challenge higher levels. Ta ta ta. Chen Ronghuo walked to the door of the secret room, opened it, and walked out. A few rays of light shone in, falling on Chen Ronghuo's face, which was handsome but looked a little pale for some reason. Black Dragon Leader. Recommended a friend's new book Super God Taoism. I have been following it, and it has more than 50,000 collections before it was put on the shelves. It is very popular. It will be put on the shelves tonight. If you like it, you can go and have a look. Landing 300 years in advance. Author, Xiaoji Depeng. Chapter 464. How's it going? Chen Ronghuo walked out of the Lord's mansion and came to a huge tower in the Hexian world. At this time, Zhen Qiansan was holding the Zhendao True Disc, which divided into thousands of black and white beads and landed in the 5 directions of the River Crab world. These 5 directions were exactly what he had ordered to establish for the 5 factions of the 5 Factions Alliance in the world of River Crab. Since he promised to transfer the 5 Factions Alliance to the continent of the gods, he would naturally not fail to keep his word. Moreover, the formations he asked Zhenkinzan to set up in 5 directions each had their own merits. All are modeled after the Foundation secret realm of the 5 Factions Alliance. In this way, after the formation is set up, he can completely use his left-hand ability to go to the 5 Factions Alliance, find out all the attributes of the 5 factions of the 5 Factions Alliance's Foundation secret realm, and transfer them here. In this way, after Shengu and others came to the Hexian territory, they could still use the power of the Foundation secret realm to exert a strength comparable to that of 9th level practitioners. In fact, Chen Ronghuo had already ordered Zhen Qinzan to do this before. However, before formation Qinzan could be completed, the White Tiger Archduke led his men to attack the River Crab territory, forcing the project to be suspended. Of course, even if the White Tiger Grand Duke did not come to attack the He Crab territory at that time, Chen Ronghuo would first find a way to capture the White Tiger territory, break through to the 9th level, and then transfer the 5-faction alliance to the He Crab territory. After all, those in the 5 factions alliance were not forces cultivated by him personally, and their loyalty was limited. If he was not strong enough, he would never dare to lure the tiger into the hole. Lord, I have completed all 5 formations according to your instructions. Zhen Qinzan made a secret in his hand and slowly put away the Gendao True Disc. Since the missing parts of the formation disc were replenished, his cultivation level has improved very rapidly, and now he has broken through to the late 8th level. If Chen Ronghuo hadn't been too aggressive, he would have been completely crushed by Zhen Qinzan with the speed of his fellow cultivators' 9 laws. Thanks a lot. Chen Ronghuo looked into the distance and used the identification skills of ancient books to identify all 5 formations similar to the secret realm. After finding that there were no problems, a smile appeared on his face. Next, as long as he transfers the entire 5-faction alliance, the power of the River Crab leader will definitely increase immediately. Send me to the 5 factions alliance. As soon as his mind moved, Chen Ronghuo explained to Zhen Qinzan a few more times, and then ordered Dehi Crab to open a black and white passage in front of him. After the passage was formed, Chen Ronghuo flashed forward, passed through the 2-realm passage, and once again came to the 5-party mythical formation set up by the 5 factions alliance. Lord, when you come here this time, the locations of our 5 factions in the continent of the gods have already been arranged. As soon as Chen Ronghuo appeared, the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others rushed over. That's right, Chen Ronghuo nodded. Over the years, the size and weight of the big river crab has been steadily increasing, and the internal space has also been the same. This time the entire 5 factions alliance has been moved to the world of the river crab. Although it will be a little crowded, it can still be accommodated. The eyes of the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others lit up. Not long ago, there was another war in the Shenyang territory. The fluctuations of the war made them all frightened, and they really didn't want to stay here anymore. While Chen Ronghuo was talking, he took out 5 pictures of the 2 realms. They were handed over to the ancestors of various sects including the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast. These 5 pictures of 2 worlds are specially made by Dehi Crab and can last for a long time. This is an atlas of 2 realms. Once it is torn open, a passage will open to my territory. Each of you will send one of them. Now gather your disciples and transfer to my world. River Crab World? Everyone was startled. The River Crab World is part of my territory. Chen Ronghuo explained, you already know this in the past. In addition, now you take me to the secret realm that is the foundation of your 5-faction alliance, and I will help you bring the secret realm there as well. Bring the secret realm with you. As soon as Chen Ronghuo said these words, the eyes of the blue-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others stared. They have never heard that transferring the sex base can also transfer the basic secret realm. It would be understandable if the foundation secret realms of their 5 sects were established in the attribute plane. However, there are only 2 treasures such as attribute planes in the entire Shenyang territory, and their 5-faction alliance has no chance at all. Wu Tianchuo, please arrange for the disciples of my Holy Tiger sect to be quickly transferred to the continent of the gods. Niu Dashan, please arrange for my disciples of the Golden Body sect to be transferred to the continent of the gods. With a thought, the ancestors of each sect separated the 2 realms' catalogs in their hands. As for themselves, they followed Chen Ronghuo to the secret realm of their respective sects out of curiosity, wanting to see what Chen Ronghuo did. The 7th-level elders of each sect who received the catalogue of the 2 realms all had a bitter expression on their faces. Although it was not wrong for them to do this, At this time, Chen Ronghuo's words aroused the seeds of curiosity in them, and they all wanted to take a look. Among everyone, especially Wu Tianchuo, his nose was almost crooked with anger. He secretly scolded Shengu for being such a stinky chess bastard for actually giving him this task. Envy. Wu Tianchuo knew without even thinking that Shengu, the stinky chess player, must be jealous of him. He was jealous that he had the identity of a master who was the leader of the Five Factions Alliance. The secret realm of the Holy Tiger. Chen Ronghuo came here again. When he came here in the first place, he wanted to speed up the practice of the Holy Tiger Mad Demon technique and speed up the refining of the immortal demon blood. But this time he came here to move the entire secret realm to the crab world. Walking into the core of the secret realm, he felt the endless power of the Holy Tiger origin surrounding him, his hands naturally fell down, and he slowly closed his eyes. The green-eyed Holy Thunder Beast and others all looked closely at Chen Ronghuo, wanting to see how Chen Ronghuo would move such a huge secret realm to the continent of gods. Is it really going to be moved to the continent of gods? At the same time, several elders of the Five Sects Alliance also spread the news of the transfer of the sect's residents throughout the Five Sects Alliance according to Chen Ronghuo's instructions. The disciples of the Five Sects Alliance were all excited when they learned about this. Under the arrangement of the sect leaders, the disciples of each sect quickly took action. Soon, the disciples of each sect gathered together. Tier. Wu Tianchuo tore the two realms atlas brought by Chen Ronghuo, and the torn atlas turned into a huge black and white space door. God's continent, I've lived for so long, but I haven't been to God's continent yet. Wu Tianchuo looked at the two-color space door in front of him, took a deep breath, and then his eyes turned and fell on his disciple Lin Qingtian in the distance. Lin Qingtian, you will be in charge here from now on. Make sure there is no trouble. I will go over there to explore the way first. After he finished speaking, he flashed and rushed into the two-color space door. This bastard. Behind him, Yan Xiaobo, another great elder of the Holy Tiger sect, had a black face. I didn't update yesterday, so I will post one chapter today and try to update 3 chapters at 6 o'clock tonight.